Welcome back everyone to another insightful discussion on our YouTube channel. Today we're delving into a topic that's been making headlines across the United States, the impact of migrants on various societal issues. But fear not, because we have our trusted guide, Auntie Jen Brown, to help us navigate through this complex landscape. A big shout out to Jen for sharing her invaluable insights and sparking today's conversation. In just a moment, we'll be reacting to a video featuring her, where she dives deep into her perspective on the possible causes behind homelessness, food shortages, and skyrocketing house prices in the US. It's sure to be an eye-opening discussion, so make sure you stick around. As we explore this multifaceted issue, it is essential to approach it with an open mind and a willingness to understand the various factors at play. Our goal isn't just to point fingers or assign blame, but to gain a deeper understanding to the challenges facing our communities. So grab a seat, settle in, and let's embark on this journey of discovery together. Without further ado, let's get started.
I've seen a lot of videos lately of people who are angry about the migrant situation, about the influx of migrants that are coming here and the amount of money that's being spent to house them, feed them, and so on. And though I understand and I agree that we have a lot going on here in the United States that needs to be addressed, homelessness, housing issues, food shortages, like we have a healthcare, oh my God, that's a whole long rabbit hole by itself. But I feel like you guys are mad at the wrong people. Instead of blaming the migrants, you need to be blaming the government for mismanagement of funds and misappropriation of funds. Let me show you what I mean. And this is just one small example, but maybe if the United States didn't spend $124 billion, please pause to read, $124 billion supporting it in Palestine. That $124 billion that the government is sending over to innocent men, women, and children, to bomb refugee camps, to bomb schools, hospitals. Yeah, that $124 billion could go a very long way when it comes to helping the American people who have been suffering and struggling. And as far as the migrants go, we as America, our government created the problems in their countries that they now have to run from. Our government, our military, their economies, okay? We destroyed their structures. We as America, our military, their family members, their loved ones, leaving them absolutely nothing and no way to survive. So the only option that they have is to track in the wilderness for days upon days and weeks with these in tow, trying to find a better life. And the only place that they can go is to the same who destroyed their country in the first place. Then they have to come here and beg for help and beg for admittance when we're the ones who put their country in the position it's in. They would not have to migrate if it wasn't for us. We owe the migrants as a country, because America is the reason that they're running, is the reason they have nothing. America and the West is the reason why their countries are hated. No economy, no jobs, no food. Venezuela, for one. Just look up what they did to Venezuela. And people are mad at the migrants for coming here. They had no choice. They had no choice. Put yourself in their position. Ask yourself, would you have done the same? Especially if you have people you love that you want to protect and you want them to have the best that they could have. Think about it. $124 billion for but they don't have money to help with homelessness. They don't have money to help with the food crisis. They don't have money to help with the healthcare industry. They don't have that. They can't even hold congressional meetings that do anything about any of it. Our country, our government, our military is too focused on spending money on, like Tupac said, they got money for what can't feed the poor. Stop hating on these migrants. They've been through enough. Try to understand and point your anger where it really belongs, which is government. I would much rather migrants come here and we help them and we feed them and we clothe them and we help them find jobs and we help them find the best life that they can find, than to continue my tax dollars being used. God, free Palestine and free the American people.
Our auntie's reaction video reminds me of Burna Boy's soul-stirring anthem, Monsters. So before we dive deep into the nitty-gritty, I've got a little perspective to share that will set the stage for our conversation. Burna Boy, the Nigerian musical maestro, serenading us with his powerful lyrics about the deep-rooted scars of exploitation and enslavement that haunt generations of Africans. It's a haunting melody that echoes the struggles faced by migrants worldwide. Now, fast forward to the US, where migrants from far-flung corners of the globe find themselves grappling with a host of challenges upon arrival. But here's the twist. Instead of extending a helping hand, there's often a misguided finger of blame pointed their way for the very issues they are trying to escape. Burna Boy's poignant question lingers in the air. How do you expect the people you've hurt to put a smile on their face when their background is full of pain and a harsh reality? It's a gut-punch reminder of the resilience required to navigate a world where the odds seem stacked against you from the get-go. So as we delve into the intricacies of today's discussion, let's marinate on this perspective. It's a reminder that behind every statistic and policy debate, there are real people with stories of struggle and triumph, just trying to carve out a better life for themselves and their loved ones. Just take a moment and imagine a world where governments not only have ears but listen intently to the voices of their citizens, especially when it comes to how taxpayer money is spent. It's a tantalizing thought, isn't it? Well, let us delve into why this notion isn't just a wishful thinking but a crucial aspect of effective governance. Our auntie, ever the beacon of wisdom, recently dropped some truth bombs that got us thinking. She pointed out how resources allocated to military aid and conflicts could have been redirected to tackle pressing issues like skyrocketing housing prices and healthcare disparities. And she's on to something profound. You see, when governments truly listen to their citizens, they gain invaluable insights into the pulse of society. They understand the needs and aspirations of the people who foot the bill, the taxpayers. Instead of blindly following odd paradigms or political agendas, they can adapt and prioritize where resources are most needed. Think about it. Those funds earmarked for military endeavors could have been channeled into initiatives to alleviate the strain of housing affordability. Picture families breathing a sigh of relief as they find homes they can actually afford without sacrificing basic necessities. And let's not forget about healthcare, a fundamental right that shouldn't be a luxury. Redirecting resources towards bolstering healthcare infrastructure could mean more accessible and affordable services for all, regardless of income or societal status. But here's the kicker. For this paradigm shift to happen, governments need to embrace a culture of listening, a willingness to engage with diverse voices and perspectives. It's not just about hearing the loudest voices or the ones that align with existing ideologies. It's about actively seeking out feedback and incorporating into policy decisions. So as we ponder the possibilities of a more responsive and accountable government, let's remember the power of our collective voice. Because when citizens speak up and governments truly listen, that's when real change happens. It's time to turn the volume up on citizen engagement and usher in a new era of governance that puts the people first. Just imagine a world where blame is a thing of the past and empathy reigns supreme. Is a lofty ideal, but one worth striving for, especially when it comes to the treatment of immigrants seeking asylum in new lands. Let's unravel the tangled web of blame and explore why it's not just unfair, but counterproductive to point fingers at the migrants for the very issues they are trying to escape. Let's start by debunking a common misconception that immigrants are somehow responsible for the tensions and challenges in their home countries. The reality is far more nuanced. Often, the very conflicts and instability prompting people to flee are rooted in historical injustices, geopolitical machinations, and socio-economic disparities, many of which are perpetuated by the very countries they seek asylum in. But here's the silver lining. There's a way forward, one that embraces compassion, understanding, and collaboration. Governments and state can play a pivotal role by implementing policies that foster integration and inclusivity. This means providing access to education, healthcare, and employment opportunities for immigrants, while also promoting cultural exchange and dialogue. At the same time, immigrants themselves can contribute to building bridges of understanding by actively engaging with their new communities and respecting local customs and laws. By sharing their unique perspectives and experiences, immigrants enrich the fabric of society and help foster a sense of unity amidst diversity. It is important to recognize that coexistence isn't always easy. It requires patience, empathy, and a willingness to step aside our comfort zones. But the rewards are immeasurable. A more vibrant, resilient, and compassionate society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. So let's leave the blame behind and embrace a future where borders are bridges, not barriers. Together, we can build a world where compassion knows no bounds and every individual is valued for their inherent worth. Thank you for joining us on this journey of discovery. Remember, the power to shape a better future lies within each and every one of us. Let's make it count. Until next time, stay curious, stay compassionate, and keep the conversation going. Goodbye for now.